Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, Text number 11. We'll read a few verses. Hataputrastatatvashta Juhavendraya Shatrave Indra Shatro Vivardhasva Machiram Jahi Vidvisham. After Vishwarupa was killed, his father Twashta performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, "O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay." Purport. There was some defect in Twashta's chanting of the mantra because he chanted it long instead of short, and therefore the meaning changed. Twashta intended to chant the word Indra Shatro, meaning, O enemy of Indra. In this mantra, the word Indra is the possessive case, Shashti, and the word Indra Shatro is called Tat Purusha, compound, Tat Purusha Samasa. Unfortunately, instead of chanting the mantra short, Twashta chanted it long, and its meaning changed from the enemy of Indra to Indra, who is an enemy. Consequently, instead of the enemy of Indra, there emerged the body of Vritrasura, of whom Indra was the enemy. Read a few more verses. Athanvaharya pachanad uttito ghora darshanaha kritanta ivalokanam yuganta samaye yatha. Translation. Thereafter, from the southern side of the sacrificial fire, known as Anvaharya, came a fearful personality who looked like the destroyer of the entire creation at the end of the millennium. 13 to 17 verses. Vishvag vivardhamanam tam ishumatram dine dine dagda shaila pratikasham sandhya bhranika varchasam taptatamra shikhi shmashrum madhyanka arkogra lochanam dedipyamane trishikhe shula aropya rodasi nrityantam unnadantam cha chalayantam padamahim darigambhira vaktrena pibata chanabhastalam lihata jivvayarkshani grashantu bhuvanatrayam mahata raudra damstrena jrimbharmanam muhur vitrasta dudruvurloka vikshya sarve disho dasha. Like arrows released in the four directions, the demon's body grew day after day. Tall and blackish, he appeared like a burnt hill and was as lustrous as a bright array of clouds in the evening. The hair on the demon's body and his beard and moustache were like the color of melted copper, and his eyes were piercing like the midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the point of his blazing trident. Dancing and shouting with a loud voice, he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned again and again, he seems to be trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth, which was as deep as a cave. He seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. Seeing this gigantic demon, everyone in great fear ran here and there in all directions. Verse number 18. Yena vrita ime lokas tapasa tvashtramurtina savai vrita iti prokta papa paramadarunaha. Translation: that very fearful demon, who was actually the son of Tvashta, covered all the planetary systems by dint of austerity. Therefore he was named Vritrasura, Vrita, or one who covers everything. Vritrasura, Vritra, or one who covers everything. Purport: in the Vedas it is said, Sa ima lokan avrinot tad vritrasya vritratvam. Because the demon covered all the planetary system, his name was Vritrasura. Number 19. Tam nijagnur abhidrutya sagana vibudhar shabhaha swair swair divyastra shastrogaihi sograsattani kritsnashaha. The demigods headed by Indra charged the demons with their soldiers, striking him with their own transcendental bows and arrows and other weapons. But Vritrasura swallowed all their weapons. Verse number 20. Tataste vishmita sarve vishanna grasta tejasa pratyacham adi purusham upatastu samahitaha. Translation: struck with wonder and disappointment upon seeing the strength of the demon, the demigods lost their own strength. Therefore, they all met together to try to please the Supersoul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, by worshipping him. So in this chapter, the appearance of the demon Vritrasura, two battles have been fought, where first battle the Devatas lost, second battle the Devatas won. And now we read in the last few verses that Indra's priest, Vishwarupa, who was doing a fire sacrifice for pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead on behalf of the demigods, on behalf of the Devatas, instead of offering the oblations on behalf of the Devatas, Vishwarupa, the appointed priest for Devatas, he started offering oblations on behalf of the demons. So demons also get benefited. So obviously this was not liked by Indra. We have employed him. Why is he making an oblations to please the Lord on behalf of the demons? And then we saw in the last chapter why Vishwarupa did this, because Vishwarupa was having a family relationship from both the demons and from both the Devatas and the demons. He was related to the Devatas from his father's side, and he was related to the demons from his mother's side. So silently, without the knowledge of the Devatas, he was offering pleasing Supreme Personality of Godhead on the behalf of demons, so that demons also get benefited. So because of this, what did Indra do? He became very angry and very afraid. He says, oh my God, if the demons become more powerful because of this yagna, then they will conquer us, and then we will lose our place in the heavenly world. I will lose my position, which is what happened. And so he immediately kills Vishwarupa, his own spiritual master. And when Vishwarupa is killed, It angered Vishwarupa's father. My son has been killed by Indra. My son, who was satisfying Indra, who was pleasing the Devata on behalf of Indra, who made Indra win back the kingdom, how can he kill my son? So Twashta, he is the father of Vishwarupa, the priest. He becomes angry, and then what he does, that is what is mentioned in this verse number 11 that we read. Hata putras tatas Twashta. Hata putra, his putra was killed, Vishwarupa. Tata Twashtas. So thereafter, Tata Twashta, what did Twashta do? Juhava Indraya Shatrave. Juhava, he performed another yagna. Vishwarupa was performing a yagna, now Twashta is performing a yagna. So what was the purpose of yagna of Twashta? Indraya Shatrave. The purpose was to perform a yagna in which an enemy of Indra is born. Indraya Shatrave. Indra Shatro, an enemy of Indra. Vrtrasura. So he is offering sacrifices in the fire by saying Indra Shatro must, a Shatru of Indra must be born, and Vrtrasura, this enemy of Indra must increase. And how long it should take? Ma Chiram. Very quickly it should happen. Chiram means a long time. Ma means not. Jahi Vidvisham. Jahi means kill. Vidvisham, your enemy. So he was performing a sacrifice, Twashta, so that an enemy of Indra is created and he kills Indra. And then in the purport, so the translation, he offered oblations in the sacrificial fire saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. To kill Indra without delay. And then in the purport, Prabhupada writes that there was some defect in Twashta's chanting. If there has to be proper effect of this mantra, then he is supposed to chant Indra Shatro, O enemy of Indra, the mantra in short, Indra Shatro. But he chanted it long. And consequently, the result was opposite. Instead of creating, in the summary also Prabhupada describes it, the meaning changed from the enemy of Indra to Indra who is an enemy. So enemies of Indra were supposed to be created, but instead of that, a huge fearful demon came out of him, came out of the sacrifice, whose name was Vritrasura, of whom Indra was the enemy. So we see here what happens simply by chanting the mantra incorrectly. An opposite result is given, an opposite result is generated. That is why it is said that the previous age, the Dwapar Yuga, was the Yuga, Treta Yuga, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. In Treta Yuga, it was Tretayam Yajato Makhaihi. Tretayam, it was fire sacrifices. But the fire sacrifices will yield proper result only if the mantras are accurately and precisely chanted. Otherwise, it will not yield the result. And here we are seeing it is yielding opposite result. So this great enemy was created, and thereafter, after that we see in these verses the description of the enemy is given. His body was growing day after day. He was tall and blackish, appeared like a burnt hill, and hair of the demon's body and his beard were the color of melted copper. Eyes were piercing like midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the point of his blazing trident. And he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if an earthquake. And when he was yawning, it appeared that he's going to swallow the whole sky. And his mouth was, when he opened his mouth for yawning, it was as deep as a cave. Very poetic, nice description. And he seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with the tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. So seeing this gigantic demon, everyone in great fear ran here and there in all directions. And then further we saw how when Indra, so he was the son of Twashta. First son of Twashta was Vishwarupa, who was killed. Now another son of Twashta was born, Vritra, his name was. And Vritra means one who covers up everything. So Asura, so Vritrasura. But he was a Brahmana because he was the son of Twashta, who was a Brahmana. And then here it is further said that when Indra charged the demons, striking the demon with their own transcendental bows and arrows, what happened? Did the arrow affect Vritrasura? He just swallowed them up. So this shows the power of Vritrasura. So then what happened? What did the Devatas do? Struck with wonder and disappointment. Wonder what kind of a demon this is, and disappointment because they couldn't win over him. The demigods lost their strength, and then thereafter they all met together to try to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, by worshipping him. So, this is what the Devatas did. They found out that there is no other way to overcome the difficult situation at hand save and except by pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by worshipping him. So we've all come here in this material world for this specific purpose. Indra was facing all the demons and all and the Vritrasura, and his position was very dangerous, and so he tried to please. So Indra took on the service of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way, we must also always remember that our position in the material world, we are always in a dangerous position. Padam padam yat vipadam. And the only way by which we can overcome this dangerous position is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have no other option. We are parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So being parts, the part must serve and satisfy the whole. Like Prabhupada gives the example, this hand is the part of the body. The hand must serve the body. Only then the hand will be happy, the body will be happy. If the hand is trying to touch a nice rasagulla and it only wants to touch, but not put it in the mouth and serve the stomach, then the stomach, if it is not nourished, the nourishment will not reach the hand. The hand will be healthy and happy if it serves or satisfies the stomach, the body. Part must serve the body. Mama amsha jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna says, all the parts, all of you are my part. I am the whole. So being my parts, you must serve me. And everywhere in all the scriptures, the same thing is mentioned. Krishna in all the scriptures mentioning how the jivas, the living entities, must try their best to satisfy me, to serve me. And this is the highest dharma. People have different understanding of what is dharma. Dharma means doing a duty. Yes, dharma means doing your duty. But what is that duty that we should be doing and calling it as dharma? Dharma is that duty by which we please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we are doing our duties, and if those duties are not resulting in pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is not dharma. Very simple definition Bhagavatam gives. Ata pumbhir dvija shreshta varnashrama vibhagasaha swanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Atha Pumbir Dvija Shrestha. Suta Goswami is addressing all the Dvija Shreshtas, all the greatly intelligent people of the Naimisharanya forest. Atha Pumbir Dvija Varnashrama Vibhagasha. You may be in whatever position you are. Varna Ashrama. You may be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Whatever position you are. Swanushtitasya dharmasya. The dharma that you have considered as the best dharma and you wish to follow your dharma. Swanushtitasya means whatever you have decided as your dharma, dharmasya. Samsiddhir, the perfection of the dharma or the highest dharma is haritoshanam. Whether the Lord is being pleased or not. That is the highest dharma, that is the highest duty. There's nothing higher than that. And Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is also saying the same thing. Yat karoshi, yad ashnashi, yad juhoshi, tadasiyat, yat tapasvasvi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Everything should be done for my pleasure, for my sake. Yat karoshi, whatever you're doing. Yat karoshi, yad ashnashi, whatever you're eating. Yat juhoshi, dadasiyat, whatever you're offering or whatever you're giving away as charity. Yat tapasvasi, whatever tapasya also you are doing. Do it for pleasing me. Do it as an offering of sacrifice to me. So this is the definition of dharma. Dharma means to serve the Lord, to satisfy the Lord. And that is now what he's realizing that he's in a difficult position. We cannot come out of this unless we satisfy. Because if we satisfy the Lord, we will be safe. So, Prabhupada gives a very nice example. Everyone works in this material world. So Prabhupada gives an example of how we satisfy someone in this material world and whom we should actually satisfy. So all of us satisfy, we all work, and in our workplace we all satisfy our employer. Why we satisfy our employer? Because he is maintaining us. If I don't satisfy him, he will not maintain me. And then how will I exist? So in the same way, we must remember, Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. That Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ekaha, he is the only one who is maintaining and satisfying bahunam. Eko bahunam. We are all bahus. Bahunam means many, many, in millions and billions, infinite souls. So, Eko bahunam yo vidadhati, he is giving kaman, satisfying all our desires. So, because Krishna is satisfying all our desires, we must please Krishna and no one else. Prabhupada gives another very nice example to explain. Now, the question may be raised, how do I satisfy Krishna or how do I please Krishna? So Prabhupada gives an example to explain how one should please Krishna. Now suppose you wish to please me. Now how will you please me? You should ask me, how will I be pleased? You cannot please me by your own whims and fancies. And then I say, I want this, and then you must supply that. That is when I will be pleased. So suppose I say, I want a glass of water. So if you have to please me, you have to do exactly what I want or what I say. If you think you will give me instead of water, you will give me milk. Because milk is better than water, it's more nutritious, it's got more calories. So let me give milk. No, I will not be pleased. I will be pleased only if I am given water. Because that is my ask. So similarly, if we wish to please Krishna, then we have to do what Krishna wants us to do. What Krishna demands from us. Then Krishna will be pleased. And if Krishna is pleased, we will all be happy. Simple formula for happiness. Please Krishna and we will be happy. Like the example is given, you water the root of the tree and the entire tree will be happy and nourished. So similarly, we water Krishna, who is our root, who is our source, who is the creator, who is the source of everything. And if Krishna is pleased, the whole world is pleased. Not only we, if we please Krishna, the whole world is pleased. Yasmin tushte jagat tushtam. If Krishna is pleased, Yasmin is for Krishna, tushte, he is pleased, Jagat Tushtam, the whole world is pleased. So such a simple formula for making the whole world happy, everyone must satisfy Krishna. And to satisfy Krishna, to please Krishna is so simple, so easy. What is Krishna asking here in this verse? What did the Devatas do? So the Devatas all met together to try to please the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by worshipping Him. We simply have to worship Krishna. And worshipping Krishna is so simple. And in this age, worshipping Krishna has been made even more simplified. Kalau tu nama matrena pujyate Bhagavan Harihi. Pujyate Bhagavan Hari. Bhagavan Hari can be worshipped kalau tu nama matrena, simply by chanting the holy name. That's all. So all that we need to do is to chant the holy name, and that pleases the Lord. And a very important thing in chanting the holy name is to chant properly. If we don't chant properly the holy name, chanting is very simple. Our chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is very simple and easy. It hasn't got, in fact, this chanting can be done with a long syllable or a short syllable. But it should be clearly pronounced. That is very important. So in this verse we saw how when Tvashta chanted it little differently, it produced opposite result. But we don't have that problem. You can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can also chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Long or short, same result. You see the benefit? But the important point that we can understand from this verse, how if you don't chant properly, accurately, you won't get the desired result. So similarly, in our chanting also, we must remember that if you want to get the true benefit, because something, see, in that age also, chanting not done properly, no proper result. Here, the chanting has been very simplified. So what is our proper chanting? We have to hear attentively. When you hear attentively the holy name, then you develop attachment for the holy name. You develop attraction for the holy name. Attraction and attachment for the holy name comes by attentively chanting. If we don't attentively chant, then that attraction, that nama gane sada ruchihi, it is said, we first perform our devotional service in a way that Sada Ruchi, eternally, always, we are having a taste for the Nama and Gana, for chanting and hearing. When will that taste come? We chant attentively. So, Prabhupada writes some things that Prabhupada says. Concentrate on hearing the sound of the holy name. As you chant, pronounce the names clearly and distinctly, addressing Krishna in a prayerful mood. So we may chant long and short. That doesn't make a difference. But there is something for us to also remember. Pronounce the names clearly and distinctly, addressing Krishna in a prayerful mood. The more attentively and sincerely you chant these names of God, the more spiritual progress you will make. So we all want to make more spiritual progress. So the formula is more attentively and sincerely. Prabhupada further in another place, Prabhupada writes, one must chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Trinadapi Shuni Chedna, and then he writes, one should note in this connection that chanting involves the activities of the upper and the lower lips as well as the tongue. All three must be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. The word Hare Krishna should be very distinctly pronounced and heard. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with proper pronunciation with the help of lips and tongue. So proper pronunciation. Chanting is very simple. but one must practice it seriously. This is one of the very important quotes of Prabhupada. It is very simple, but the practice must be very sincere, must be very serious. That means I am chanting, am I hearing attentively? Am I chanting clearly? Am I pronouncing clearly? Am I distinctly chanting? Am I distinctly hearing? In one letter to a devotee, Prabhupada is writing, he says 3 things in this letter. And these 3 things are the recommended process for purifying the heart in the sinful age of Kali. They must chant 16 rounds a day minimum with attention, clearly chanting the mantra and listening very carefully. You see how many, in just one short line, how many words are packed? There are 4 words that Prabhupada is saying. Chanting 16 rounds with attention and clearly chanting the mantra and listening. How you're listening? Very carefully. Not just carefully, listening very carefully. And Prabhupada says, this is a must. There's no option. They must chant 16 rounds a day minimum with attention, clearly chanting the mantra and listening very carefully. This is the process for purifying the heart in the sinful age of Kali. Yet another place, Prabhupada is saying, as you chant, pronounce the names clearly and distinctly. Concentrate on hearing the sound of the holy name. So, we must make this our habit. Prabhupada says in one place that a devotee should be accustomed to chant inoffensively. You're talking of offenseless chanting. He says not only offenseless chanting, inoffensive chanting, we must make it our habit to chant offenselessly. So important offenseless chanting is. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri, after he converted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an impersonalist. And he had no faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not chanting in the holy name. So, after there was a big, we know that dialogue, 7 days Sarvabhauma spoke and then Mahaprabhu spoke and then Sarvabhauma became a devotee. And what is the faith that he developed in Mahaprabhu, in Jagannath, in the personality of Godhead, in chanting of the holy name is all mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And from that day onwards, he started chanting the holy name. He's developed faith and he chanted the holy name. And all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were very happy that Sarvabhauma has taken to the chanting of the holy name. So one day, Mahaprabhu went to the Jagannath Puri temple for an early morning darshan, the Jagran darshan of Jagannatha. And the pujari gave Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Jagannatha prasada, some garlands and some Jagannath prasada, food offering. And Mahaprabhu got that prasadam early morning and he thought, let me go to Sarvabhauma's house and let me give him this prasadam, the first thing. Because just last evening or very recently Sarvabhauma had changed and Mahaprabhu wanted to give him this prasadam. This was early morning. So Mahaprabhu, when he reached Sarvabhauma's house, it was just about daybreak. The sun had just about risen and it was just dawn. And Sarvabhauma had not risen up. He was just rising from his bed. And this is the way Sarvabhauma rose from his bed. As Sarvabhauma arose from his bed, what did he do? He chanted the holy name and rose from the bed. Look at the practice that he made. And how did he chant? He distinctly chanted Krishna, Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to hear him chant the holy name Krishna. So he rose from the bed and he chanted as soon as he was rising and he was very distinctly chanting. So the verse says, Krishna Krishna Sphuta Kahi Bhattacharya Jagila. Sphuta means very clearly and very distinctly. Krishna Krishna Sphuta Kahi, he chanted, Bhattacharya Jagila, he rose, Krishna Nama Suni Prabhur Anandita Badhila. So see how he has practiced himself to chant. And so this is how Prabhupada also says we must be accustomed to chant offenselessly. And these are all the words that Prabhupada uses. We must pronounce the name clearly. We must chant distinctly. Distinct chanting, clear chanting, pronouncing the chanting, hearing the chanting, hearing every word. This is the way you chant. And when you chant this mantra, the effect will be Krishna Nama Sankirtana Hoile Sarva Narthanash Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna Premera Ullas. A wonderful verse which talks about what is the effect of chanting, what is the effect of Sankirtana if done properly. Nama Sankirtana Hoite Sarva Narthanash. All the anarthas will be destroyed. Sarva Narthanash, Sarva Shubhodaya, everything becomes auspicious. And Krishna Premera Ullas, Krishna Prema will awaken. So that is what the chanting can do. And this is what will please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased, we will be happy. This is a simple formula for happiness. So here we see, here Indra has now gone to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering prayers, and by that Krishna will be pleased, and Krishna will give them a solution how Vritrasura can be killed. So Krishna will personally give us solutions how to face the challenges in this material world if we please Krishna by the process of chanting. So these are some of the things. We will close here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.